We're gonna look in the trunk. Gotta make sure there's no dead bodies in here. I love that. I think that that is fantastic. You have gotta love this weather. I mean, it is perfect. It is October. Fall is finally here. And that makes me very, very happy. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you don't know me, my name's Phil and I make car videos. It's always good to do a quick visual inspection before you get in the car, especially if you haven't driven for a while. Look at the tires. Are they low on air? Do you have to add some air? Look for body damage. Just because there's so many dummies out there that'll back into you, run into you, or ding your doors up, so you want to make sure there isn't any damage. Unfortunately, they are all over the place. Oh yeah, by the way, Z update, guys. I deleted the front plate on the Z finally. I know the lighting's not that good in here. Let's see. But I deleted the front plate. I put bumper plugs in. I don't know if that's going to show on camera. It's so dark in here. The top two holes where the plugs are were very unsightly. That's why I had the front plate on. I could add additional bumper plugs here to the other two holes, but I don't think it's bad. What do you guys think? Anyway, big improvement. Looks a lot better in my opinion. Well, let's turn the light on. Okay, here we go. Still kind of dark, but you can see it looks a lot better. I mean, if you get up really close, you can see. But again, you know, this isn't a Ferrari. It's just a 350Z, but and I don't have a lot of room here to show you, but hey, I think it looks a lot better without the front plate. This one's really important here, guys. This is really important. We're gonna look in the trunk. Gotta make sure there's no dead bodies in here. Okay, looks all right. Oh, that's not blood, is it? Oh, okay, we'll take care of that. It's good to have extra stuff like this. I don't really use this stuff, but who knows? And always check the tire pressure in your spare. You want to make sure that your spare has air in it so you can use it. What good is your spare if you can't use it, right? So check the tire pressure in your spare. And that goes for new cars too. You always get in the back seat first. Always get in the back seat because, you know, I'm just making a video and I thought I would get in the back seat. So yeah, get in the back seat. If you haven't been back here in a while, check everything out, you know. All right, everything looks good. Today, we are talking about what it's like to drive a 20-year-old car. What is it like to drive an old car? Well, to be honest, it's great. I love it. You want to have something that's reliable, that starts every time, that does what it's supposed to do. There's nothing wrong with driving an older car. There's a lot of amazing older cars out there that aren't loaded with nannies and unnecessary tech and giant screens. Not that tech isn't cool. I like some of the newer stuff. I'm not going to say that I hate it all and I have to have a Fred Flintstone car. You're in control, you can feel the road, you get a little more feedback than you do with a modern vehicle, so you will appreciate that if you're a car guy, if you're a car guy or car girl, getting that extra feedback from the steering, from the brakes. You got to keep your eyes on the road. You want to look far ahead. You want to look in your mirrors because you don't have the sensors that are going to beep and alert you that you have. In a newer car, backing up, you may have to look over your shoulder when you reverse into a parking spot and use your mirrors because you don't have the backup camera. I don't know if you guys can hear, I've got a little power steering noise today. The temperature drops, so we've got a little power steering whine. We're gonna have to take care of that. It's kind of annoying. Annoying things are gonna happen with older cars, that's just part of it. But if they're well serviced, well maintained, especially if it's a Toyota or a Honda, and it's been well taken care of, you may actually have less problems than you do with the newer car. So many people believe that having a newer car means I'm not going to have any problems. Just because something's under warranty doesn't mean you're not going to have problems, doesn't mean that you can't break down, doesn't mean that you're not going to have it serviced or take it to the shop or be stuck with a loaner car. Still an inconvenience, even if it doesn't come out of your pocketbook. And people are terrified of miles. I made a video, maybe some of you guys have seen it. It went semi-viral, or viral for me. We're right around 100,000 views. How awesome is that? First time getting 100,000 views on a YouTube video. It's newer isn't better. Why you should consider driving an older vehicle. And a lot of people agreed with me. A lot of people didn't agree. You know, you can't drive so high miles means high miles is bad. And some people in the comments thought that 70,000 miles is a lot and you're going to have problems. And yeah, a lot of people are under that belief. There are a lot of good things about older cars, as we know. I'm doing all the driving. Even though I'm in a boring 5-speed automatic, I'm doing all the driving here. I don't have any computer aids. There is a traction control on this car, but it doesn't really do anything. It'll just limit wheel spin, and it doesn't really even do a good job of that. But again, this car's a 3-liter V6, 240 horsepower, so we don't really front-wheel drive. It's really a non-issue. And you have people that are embarrassed to be driving an older car. They're really concerned with what other people think, and you really shouldn't care what other people think. Most people aren't going to know the difference. If your car is clean, they're going to think it's like 5 years old. Like this car is exactly 20 years old, but your average person thinks it's 5 years old, and I'm not kidding. Until they get inside and they see there's no giant screen. That's the dead giveaway. And then they think, oh, that car is 10 years old, 12 years old? How old is that car? Somebody that likes cars will look at the wheels and they'll see, oh, those are smaller wheels, those are 16-inch wheels, there's no screen. That's got to be a good 10 years old. And people that really know cars know that it's 20 years old. But for the most part, people aren't going to know. They're not going to care. And when it comes to the ladies, for the most part, if it's a decent girl, if it's a good girl, they just want to see a car that's well taken care of, that's clean. That's what's going to impress them. A nice car that smells good when you get inside, that looks good, the paint is in good shape. That's all that they're going to care about, man. Yeah, a lot of them are going to be brand whores, but you don't want to deal with somebody like that anyway. You do not want to deal with that type of person, because their whole life is going to revolve around what handbag they have, what zip code they live in. It's a never-ending money pit, unless you're wealthy enough to where you can just, you know, that doesn't matter. But I want to know from you guys, what is it like to drive a 10-year-old vehicle if you have a 10-year-old car, which isn't that old in my mind. I know I'm a 45-year-old dinosaur, but a 10-year-old car isn't that old. What is it like to drive a 10-year-old car, or a 20-year-old car, a 30-year-old car? Some of you guys that daily drive 30-year-old cars, and maybe even 40-year-old cars. I know there aren't many people daily in cars from the 70s, but I know you're out there and I want to hear about it. So let us know in the comments. What do you think the best cars are to daily drive? And are you somebody that gets a new car every 2 years to drive, to daily drive? I'm not talking about the enthusiasts that can't make up their mind, that goes from Mustang to Camaro to Corvette to NSX to Ferrari to Porsche 9, whatever. You know, goes through cars like, you know, like crazy. I get that, because you can do that, and if you do that right, you can do that without spending a lot of extra money. That's another video too. We're not talking about that. But those of you that have to have a new car, maybe you're not even really into cars, you have to have a new car every 2 years. Why is that? Do you just like the feeling of something new? Do you like that new car smell? Is it like getting a new pair of sneakers? Because I get that. Like, it's nice to get a new pair of sneakers, and I totally get that. That makes sense to me. Or something new and it's nice and fresh. It's just yours. No one has owned it prior. I totally get that. And it's worth it to have something new all the time. I just want something reliable, that's clean, that is inexpensive to maintain. I'm not afraid of breaking down. If I break down and I can't do anything about it, I call a tow truck. I call AAA. It can happen to those of you with new cars. It's not just people with older cars. So you don't want to be scared of breaking down. Obviously, you don't want to break down in a bad area. You don't want to break down, you know, right before an exit or somewhere where you get hit. Obviously, nobody wants that. But, you know, you just call a tow truck. You deal with it. But driving an older car forces you to pay attention more. I have to pay attention. I'm getting more feedback in my steering. I don't have any aids. I got to pay attention to what's going on. I have to pay attention to how fast I'm going. You want to make sure your tires are in good shape. Check the date codes. Nobody seems to care about that. Check the date codes on your tires. Don't drive with summer tires in the winter if you're in an area with a colder climate, because you're going to be driving on hockey pucks without traction. And you see it at the car shows with the exotics. They're driving with Michelin Pilot Cup 2 tires to a Cars and Coffee. If it's just a couple miles, okay. If you're going on a 30, 40 mile drive with summer tires in the winter, that is not good. That is not good. What do you guys want to add? What is it like driving an older car? What do you like about it? What do you hate about it? There really isn't anything that I hate about it. Like I've said before in other videos, I love being invisible on the road. I don't like to always stand out. I worked as an actor and a model and a personal trainer. I'm in shape. I look pretty good for my age, so I get attention. And yes, there are plenty of guys that look better than me, that are in better shape than me. I'm not saying that I'm anything special. I'm just saying that I do get attention for being me. So I don't need to get extra attention on a daily basis with the car. Now, when I'm driving the Z and somebody says, nice car, and I get some attention, yeah, of course I appreciate that. You know, or I imagine if I had something like a Porsche or a Ferrari, I would still like the extra attention. But what I'm saying is, on a daily basis, every day, getting in and out of the car, it's nice to be invisible. I love that. I think that that is fantastic. You know, privacy is good, man. And if I have to zip around a truck, get up to speed and pass somebody, it's nice to have a car that's quiet. I'm not drawing a lot of attention to myself. There's been plenty of times in this car where I've passed a truck or somebody and I've gone, you know, 15 over, gotten around the truck, and the cops have left me alone. So to me, that's a win on a daily basis. Eventually, will I have a nice daily driver? Absolutely. Because I am a huge car geek, and I love all the nice stuff, man. I'm not going to say you shouldn't have nice stuff. If you want to daily drive an M3 or an M4, do it, man. A 911, do it. I am all for it. I love it. But dude, this car is just so good, man. It drives great. It's comfortable. It's quiet. The visibility is good. I don't have a giant screen. I don't have a bunch of beeps going off. I don't have to connect to the internet when I get into it. It's probably my age that I was younger when these cars came out, this era of cars. I think it's just the sweet spot for automobiles. The mid to late 90s to the mid 2000s, cars were more reliable, dependable overall. There was enough tech to where they performed well. The cars perform well enough to get around. You get decent mileage, decent economy, and they're just bulletproof, man. I know there are transmission issues with this car, and I'm pretty easy on the transmission. I'm not like clunking it in the gear and, you know, driving hard all the time. You know, drain and fill the fluid every year, every couple years. I guess I am due to do that again, so we'll have to drain and fill the transmission fluid. I'm stuck behind a bunch of trucks. We've got a tractor trailer on one side and a septic truck on the other side, so I'm just gonna chill here. So those are my thoughts on driving an older vehicle. You should learn how to drive older cars, because driving is going away. I mean, people love not having to do anything. And it's just not a good situation to be in, I think, to not be able to drive. Take the backup cameras away, and half of these people aren't going to be able to back into parking spots. How many of you out there can actually back into a parking spot without a backup camera? Be honest, be honest. How many of you can drive manual transmission? It's going away, it's going away. Oh, these heated seats got me nice and toasty. So I still have heated seats in here. You gotta like that, man. You gotta like heated seats. I'd like to have cooling seats though, that would be even better. Is there anybody out there that has a new car that had to get rid of it because they couldn't stand it and went back to an older car? I'd like to know about that too. I just want to get a conversation going. I enjoy talking about all things automotive, so please guys, comment below. Leave your opinions. I want to hear them. Let's talk about them. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. All right, post-workout hot dogs. What are you guys cooking today? What's on the grill?